On 2006, after spending 93 years at Highbury, Arsenal moved just down the road to another stadium called Emirates Stadium. It has the capacity of 60,000 spectators, whereas Highbury used to have the capacity of 38,000. So on that ground, it was clearly an upgrade. And the main reason that they changed their stadium, that they shifted from Highbury to Emirates, was to compete with the European elite, the elite teams that fight for the Champions League. Because you have to remember, Arsenal have never won any European trophy in their history. Under Arsene Wenger, Arsenal won 3 Premier League titles, and the most memorable one was, of course, the invincible season in 2003 and 4. And actually, that was the last time Arsenal fans saw their team lift the Premier League title. With 3 Premier Leagues and 7 FA Cups under his belt, an invincible season, a league title at arch-rivals home stadium Old Trafford, providing this generation of footballers with 2 of the most legendary footballers in Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp. Some of the best footballs that's been played ever in the history of football. Arsene Wenger left the club in 2018 due to his inability to deliver a Premier League title in 14 long years. Arsenal fans wanted change, and their board delivered. They appointed a manager who just went back to back in the UEFA Europa League competition with a relevant but not as big as club named Sevilla. They appointed Unai Emery as the successor to Arsene Wenger. Even after having a good start, Unai Emery didn't deliver, and the club thought he's not the man to succeed Arsene Wenger. Then they switched their attention to a young manager who actually didn't have any experience in professional football management, who was just an assistant manager to one of the best managers in the world football, Pep Guardiola, and because of that reputation only, they hired Mikel Arteta. So today, we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world, Arsenal Football Club. People, what's going on? We have arrived yet again. This is the second episode, and in this episode, we're going to talk about Arsenal. I really want to talk about them because it's the club that I really don't support. It's not my club. I actually love seeing them lose, seeing them fall. Not only them, Liverpool, City, every other rival clubs, every other top 6 clubs, should I say. But especially them, it's something about them that gives me joy. Watching them fail, watching them just not win games, right? But for this time, and for this time only, I'm trying to be rather serious and go deep into it, like what is really going on with that football club. So for this episode, especially if you're an Arsenal fan, from my perspective, I'm going to give you what should have been done, what is being done, and all of that shit, right? So stay tuned. This is going to be a special one. So Arteta was appointed, I think, in the December of 2019, I guess. Yeah, I think it was. It was. So since then, let me tell you in brief what happened, right? So he came in, and Arsenal actually started playing good, right? I remember that game against Chelsea that they played at Emirates. They were superb in that first half. They should have scored more, but they didn't. They only scored 1. So it was 1-0 going into the second half. Chelsea came back and won the game 2-1. Many people say Jorginho should have been red carded that game, but that doesn't matter. They should have won that game. Arsenal should have won that game in the first half only, but they didn't, right? So they were showing some glimpses. They were playing triangles. It was quick. It was rapid. The press was really, really good. Everything was nice, right? But then again, in the league, they couldn't maintain their consistency, or should I say, they couldn't move up in the table, right? They were just where they were. When Emery left, they were, I think, 7th, and when Arteta came in, they finished 8th, right? Their league form was not actually that good. but the football they played was quite good. I'm not gonna lie. And then the FA Cup, and that's the thing that's been a thing that's just stopping Arsenal fans from saying, "I don't believe in this manager." Because why? The reason is that FA Cup run that Arsenal had was quite amazing. They faced Manchester City in the semi-final, and they faced Chelsea in the final. And Mikel Arteta, with the Arsenal squad that was supposedly very bad, beat those two teams and won the FA Cup within his first 6 months, I guess, of his tenure as an Arsenal manager. And everybody in the world is now in awe of that guy, right? And I cannot lie. I actually thought, well, this guy's gonna turn out good, isn't he? Because tactically, still now, I don't feel he's inept. It's the man management where he lacks, right? That's why I feel. But at that point, the way they played out from the back, you can watch the goals they scored against City and Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-finals and the final, right? It was brilliant, man. From the back to the front, it was quite amazing. Aubameyang was just elite, elite, elite. Pepe was coming into his form. The defenders, they didn't look bad. David Luiz was looking like Beckenbauer or something like that. It was crazy. And then they went on to another season, which is the last season, right? And they started brilliantly yet again. So I'm here thinking, well, 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 they're actually a very good team now, aren't they? Their first game I remember was against Fulham, and they won the game 3-0. That season they brought Willian from Chelsea, who Chelsea fans think very finished player. He's bad, bad, bad. But Willian had 2 assists, I think, that game, or a hat trick of assists. I don't remember exactly. But Arsenal fans started saying, "Well done, Chelsea. Thank you very much for giving us Willian." Right? So first game, well done against Fulham. That was, I think, a promoted team. So after that, I think they had the Community Shield game against Liverpool, and they defeated Liverpool. So wow, 2 trophies. If you count Community Shield as a trophy, it was actually 2 trophies within 7 months from Mikel Arteta. So Arsenal fans were just living in their favorite position, right? They bought Thomas Partey, who I would absolutely love to have him at United, but he's now an Arsenal player and he's become an injury prone player. I don't know how. Who was never injured at Atletico Madrid, but we will talk about that later on, right? So they brought Partey, Willian. Who else did they bring in? They signed Marion permanent deal. Ceballos extended the loan deal, and they defeated teams like West Ham, Sheffield United, and I'm here wondering, well, they are actually going to be very good, aren't they? Right? Oh, I'm sorry, Arsenal, you are good. I started saying it, right? Almost. I think Arteta even defeated Liverpool in the league 1-0 or something like this. Yeah, something like that, right? So I was like, wow, this is going to be interesting. And all of a sudden, they came back where they were always, and it was the same Arsenal that I loved watching. Just nothing, loss, right? And all of a sudden, Mikel Arteta started losing games. Where is the planning? Where is the tactics? Where is that Aubameyang? Where is that Nicolas Pepe? Where is that Lacazette? And it's just gloomy out there in Emirates. And for me, I was like, yes, that's why I predicted. Because you have to remember, guys, like many people still Arsenal fans say, how did we play that well against Man City and Chelsea, playing it out from the back and all of that shit? And how are we all of a sudden bad? It's because you dumbass that during the first period, nobody knows how you're gonna play out, right? Nobody knows how you're gonna press. Nobody knows your tactical stature of your manager. Nobody's gonna know about that because Mikel Arteta is literally his first job. So everybody's just gonna have to take time to figure it out about how is this guy doing this. And now is the time that they've realized like how you guys literally play. They've realized it now, and that's how you've been losing games, right? So I remember that 3-0 loss against Aston Villa. I think that was one of the worst performances from a top 6 team against a non-top 6 team at home. They were destroyed by Grealish, Barkley, and McGinn. I remember, and obviously Watkins. It was ridiculous. They lost 3-0. The players were dancing, falling, all of that shit happened. And from that point, I just realized this guy is not it. But they, Arsenal fans, thought this is just a like a bump in the road or something like that. No, it wasn't. And look at this. Look at how they've been playing right now, right? So I think it's just complete misunderstanding. And now they just they're just in their own world of, this is our guy, this guy will turn this around, these are our players, he's gonna be good, he's gonna be good. Meanwhile, other teams are saying, well, look at them, they're just shit. And now every other 19 teams wants to come to Arsenal or Emirates and want to spank you, right? Nobody's gonna be afraid of this team, because you look at the manager, man. Literally nothing. I actually don't see nothing in that team. Like, what are they trying to do? You watch Burnley, right? You will see they're just trying to play, just take the long balls, headers, and physical, all of that shit. Arsenal, no, nothing. You know nothing about them. They right now are just clueless team. And like I said, every team would love to face this team, right? There is no leadership. There is no character in that dressing room. The manager, maybe he's tactically good, but his man management skills are some of the worst I've ever seen. I will give you examples as well. But this guy ain't it. This guy ain't gonna take this Arsenal team. He's not the successor of Arsene Wenger. He's not gonna win you any sort of big titles like Premier League or Champions League. Just forget about it. This guy is just not it. That's what I'm saying right now. So they finished eighth last season, right? So back to back eighth positions. They didn't progress in the FA Cup last season. They didn't progress in the Carabao Cup last season. They were spanked by Man City 4-1, I guess. Uh, the embarrassing defeat to Villarreal in the semi-final of the Europa League, and that was against the ex-manager in Unai Emery. And I think from that point, the division within Arsenal fan base about, is he the guy or is he not the guy, was more so. The division was less, right? So most of the people were like, this is not it, this guy is just not it, we have to replace him. But saying that, most of the fans started creating an argument about, if you look at that league table from December, that means if you exclude the games before December and if you include the games after December only, Arsenal are third in the table. That is their counter argument to people saying Arteta should be done out here, right? I was like, well, that is your very, very good counter argument, but hang on a minute. You guys started a season with expectations of Mikel Arteta can give you top four. He's got that capability. That was your expectation. So Mikel Arteta knows it, and he has that pressure of delivery because he just delivered you a couple of trophies, right? So when it was that period of, I expect it from you, your team did nothing. And where is when it is the period of, I expect nothing from you, your team gave you something. And that is not the way to judge a football team, and that is not the way to judge a person. When they perform where they should be performing, that's when you respect them, right? You clap for them. When you are expecting nothing, there is no pressure, there is literally no use, and they just delivering, that is not the way to judge. And especially in football, like, I can be the manager at that point because you expect nothing from that team. Do you expect top four? I think Arsenal were far, far away from top four at that point. And you look at the situation your club was in, the mood the fan base was in, right? Everything was just negative. And something in that situation, you just don't need to tell anything. There's literally no pressure. And there's a difference between having pressure to perform and having no pressure not to perform. There's a difference. And you cannot literally take half of the season out and say we would have finished third if the season started in December. That's just nonsense. I don't like it at all, right? So they finished back to back eighth. And Arsenal board still haven't sacked Mikel Arteta because they believe in the guy actually. So this season they brought Martin Odegaard, who actually came on loan last January, but now he's on permanent deal. They bought Aaron Ramsdale, a keeper from a relegated team. They brought Sambi Lokonga from Anderlecht. They brought Nuno Tavares from Benfica, I think. And they brought in, let me think. Okay, Tomiyasu, yeah, from Bologna, right? From Serie A. That was it. And Ben White, of course, who can forget that? So that was your transfer window. And what hilarious is Arsenal are the biggest spenders this summer transfer window. And you look at the list of the players that they bought and you say to yourself, how? How are they biggest spenders? Because let me tell you why. It's because Arsenal board are clueless, right? And this is just my conspiracy theory, but I just feel like they just buying these young players just to make fan base feel like you we need to wait. Because you think about it. If you buy right now, right, I need right now players, that means fan base gonna react to it in a sense that like we want to win things now. Let's go. We bought players for this period, not for future. We for now. Now there's a pressure for the manager, for the board. Now when you buy these random young players, I think as a fan base, the natural expectation is just, yeah, we in 2 3 years time we will be there because these are just youngsters, and that feeling is a shifted. So whatever you guys do this season, you ain't gonna be pissed as much as you were last season. Why? Because your expectation is just in future, and that's what I think Arsenal wants to take these their fans to, right? This summer transfer window, if I'm spending that 158 million, I'm spending that so wisely. Even I can say that, right? But this, I don't know, whoever was buying these players, I really don't get it. This is just pathetic spending, man. And I will give you an example. What can you do with that 160 million? The quality of players that you can get. They bought Odegaard, right? Ramsdale for 30. I think Odegaard was for 35 million. So that's your 65 million on two players. I would rather spend that 65 million on James Madison, who is Premier League proven, can score, can assist, set pieces, free kicks, everything. He can do everything, right? I would rather spend that 65 million on Madison, and I would not get Odegaard and Ramsdale. Keeper is not the priority for you right now, and especially backup keepers. So forget about it. So James Madison. I will not buy Ben White. I will keep Saliba, who has been performing at an elite level in Ligue 1, but your manager doesn't give a shit. So I would keep him. I would not buy Saliba, and I will keep that 50 million that I spent on Ben White. So I will not spend on Tomiyasu and Tavares either. I would spend on Max Aarons because you guys definitely need a right back. I completely agree with that. So I will spend that on 30 million on Max Aarons. So I've spent 95 million up to now, right? Yeah, 95 million. I would spend 30 million on Max Aarons, 65 on Madison. If you guys want to believe in Sambi Lokonga, because I've watched him and he looks a very good player, so I will buy him. I think it was for 20 million, so that makes my budget go upwards to 115 million. So the rest of the 45 million I will spend on Bissouma from Brighton. He's clearly better than Xhaka and El Neni and all of these dudes. I will buy him, or Neves, either of those two. There you go. You have that team, and your team now has Leno, Max Aarons, Gabriel, Saliba, Tierney, Bissouma, Partey, James Madison, Pepe, Saka, Aubameyang. That is a very, very good team if it is coached properly. So with that money, I can literally spend better. And their spending has been so pathetic this summer. And I can be proved wrong. Tavares can be very good left back. Ndokonga can be the best midfielder. Anything can happen. But this club, who just finished eighth for back-to-back seasons, cannot work on ifs, buts, maybe, can. No, accurate. You have to be so certain that these guys will deliver and lift your club upwards, right? Everybody's just mocking it. Everybody's just mocking your team. And I think this guy is not it. And like I said, that conspiracy theory of mine will literally be it. Because I ask any Arsenal fan, what do you expect? They will say, in 2, 3 years' time, we will be there. But like I said, I can spend that 160 mil literally very, very properly on a different manner and those players for now. That's just the explanation of Arteta, his record uh, in winning and losing games and spending, right? By the way, his record right now is 48 wins, 16 draws, and 26 losses in the league, which is pathetic, man. 1.78 points per game, 160 points out of 270 available. It's just like he's managing West Ham or something like that, Everton or something like that. His record is pathetic. His transfer windows has been, I think last summer when he brought Partey, I was like, well done. That's a good signing right there. But I don't know about that anymore. His transfer window is spending, since there's a feeling about we could have done better. That's not good spending. So his spending has been poor. Let's talk about his another deficiency, and that is his major deficiency. And that deficiency is man management. I think in modern football, more than you to become a very good tactician, look at that, how he's coaching properly. Beyond that, what you really need is how you manage your players, how you're so related to your players, right? During downs, during ups, how you motivate them. That's really important. And I don't think Mikel Arteta has got any clue about it, any like in any sorts, right? Let me give an example. William Saliba, he was brought in by Unai Emery. He was actually not he was not a Mikel Arteta player. He was brought under Unai Emery, and his first season he went on to loan to Saint Etienne. He was amazing, and Arsenal fans have said next season we are gonna bring William Saliba back. He's the Mbappe of centre backs. He can run, he can defend. He's a crazy, crazy talent. And I looked at his highlights. I looked at his stat. I said, all right, that's fair. He's been really good, right? So I thought he was going to come back. But Arsenal brought a centre back, Gabriel. And I was like, okay, Gabriel and Saliba, right? Fantastic. That's good. That's good. Young, but they will be experienced by some point. So I will have hopes in them. But what Arteta did was, no lad, you need to prove me. You need to prove me that you are the player that I want. So Saliba didn't get any chance, but Arteta just kept on saying, you need to prove me. Well, how can he prove you when you are not going to play him? Like, are you that dumb? But he kept on asking, and he said, go on loan yet again. He went on loan. He performed absolutely fine. He was good yet again. Then the third season, he had William Saliba in his hands for that entire preseason. He didn't play William Saliba, and he said he's not proven. And that's when I know I want to punch his mouth. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but to treat a player like that, you literally are the sucker of joy. Like, you were pathetic. You're dumb, right? Again, on loan for third season straight. And he's been amazing this season, by the way. It's just been 3 games, but he's been amazing, right? And I'm wondering, what is this guy all about? How can you not manage a youngster? Same shit happened with Guendouzi. If you remember the Mesut Ozil incident, right? He had a feud with Mesut Ozil. And if you want a proof of it, Mesut Ozil tweeted, trust the process, with a heartbroken emoji. After, now he's a Fenerbahce player, so he can do that. That clearly shows he was not having it with Mikel Arteta. Nobody loves him, man. His man management is just shit. The way he speaks in press conferences, you look at some of the quotes that comes out of his press conferences, right? The way he attacks his players. I think against Leeds, Arsenal, Pepe got red carded, and Mikel Arteta said he should not have done that. He should not have done that. When Xhaka gets a red card, he says nothing. He keeps quiet, and that's when he shows his like immature level of man management. He's just pathetic. I hate him for that. You cannot manage players like that. And that's the reason Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the United job. He might not be very good tactician, but he's a very, very, very good man manager, right? He can pick Pogba up, say, hey, Paul, get your form up, man. Something like that. But this dude, like, he can do nothing about that. Same shit happened with Kolasinac. Rob Holding, he should The same dude who says Saliba should prove himself is starting Rob Holding against Manchester City, right? This guy is just dumbass, man. Never trust this dude, right? His management skill is just pathetic. And they start to the season. This season, Arsenal 3 games, 9 goals conceded, no goals scored. This team scored 6-0 against West Brom in the Carabao Cup, and they celebrated like they just won the fucking Champions League, right? Look at their celebrations. That's just so this guy has no mentality in that dressing room. He doesn't know how to treat them. The dressing room is just a mess. You look at guys like Maitland Niles on his Instagram putting up things like, let me just leave Arsenal. Let me play where I want to play. This guy is holding prisoners, right? This guy is just I'm getting pissed just saying this, right? So what my prediction? What's my prediction for Arsenal this season? My prediction is they're gonna finish eighth. But let me see. Certified top four. I don't think anybody gonna come close to top four. City, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, best 4 teams in the league. Nobody can come close to them. Tottenham has a better chance of getting top four or top six than Arsenal. Leicester, West Ham. Then you got who else? Other teams should also be there, right? That's literally 6 teams or 7 teams that you cannot literally touch. So you cannot have any other positions. You cannot take over them. So Arsenal should finish eighth again, in my opinion, but they can finish lower, as per Mikel Arteta's wish. So they don't have European football this season. I don't think they're going to win FA Cup. I don't think they're going to win Carabao Cup. So this is just another season of trust the process nonsense. And I hope they keep on. They keep on with this shit. They keep Mikel Arteta. They keep the city players. They don't know how to sell. That's fine. That's perfectly fine for me. So I hope this continues. But if they really want to improvise, who should be the next manager? And I looked at the list, and there's only one top manager available, and that's Antonio Conte. And I started thinking about Antonio Conte and Arsenal together, and I said, I don't think I've ever seen this level of mismatch ever before. Antonio Conte is a dude who says, "Give me this, give me this, give me this, I will give you this." Arsenal says, "No, I won't give you this, I won't give you this, I won't give you this, but please provide me that." So it's just a complete mismatch. I don't think it's gonna happen. So who are the other top managers? Who should they be getting? Anybody. Anybody who can manage. Except for Mikel Arteta, anybody. Anyone who's going to play Saliba, Gabriel. Now they brought Ben White in. That means 3 center backs who's going to rotate between those 3. Anybody who's going to bring a new right back. Anybody who's going to believe in a new striker or an attacking midfielder. Anybody who's going to have a plan. Anybody like that. Not Mikel Arteta. That's my opinion. Because I cannot give you a conclusive person because there is not one. Like I said, Conte is the only one, but I just said that's a mismatch. But if there is literally nobody, but you still want to go for the big manager, then absolutely Antonio Conte is an option. But otherwise, like I said, it's a mismatch. So you should go for anybody who is not like Mikel Arteta. That's it. So that's it for this episode. I will meet you next week, or probably after some days, because Premier League is back. I think Sunday, Man United play Newcastle, so that's a must watch. We will be back. Until then, stay safe.